Hi, for Reason TV, I'm Nick Gillespie, and I'm talking today with the president of Freedomworks, Matt Kibbe. Matt, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
What is Freedomworks?
Freedomworks is a national grassroots organization. We stand for pretty simple principles: lower taxes, less government, more freedom. But our job is to get people to show up and demonstrate their preference for those values to politicians and to people in power.
What's Dick Armey's role in Freedomworks?
Dick Armey is our chairman. When he resigned as majority leader in 2002, he joined Freedomworks, and he spends a lot of time on the road. He does a lot of op-ed writing and a lot of speaking. He was speaking at the Tea Parties this week.
Does he also string lights, electrical lights, and phone cables for you guys? Because didn't he do that in a former life? Yeah, he really pitches in. Talk about the Tea Parties. This is one of the most amazing kind of social events. It's at least as big as the Twilight movie mania of a couple months ago, or of the Watchmen. I've seen counts as high as 350,000 people nationwide going to Tea Parties. What is that about, and what's Freedomworks' role in that?
I saw an estimate just now that said there were 550,000, and I actually think there's more than that, because this was a truly spontaneous grassroots uprising.
Although you guys did help organize them,
yeah,
right?
we were heavily involved getting it started and getting various activists engaged, but this thing took on a life of its own, which is where the real power in it was. There's 550,000 people, 1,000 different events across the country. I was in Atlanta with Dick Armey, and there was 15 to 20,000 people there. It's amazing. I've never seen constituency turn out for freedom like this.
What is the message of the Tea Parties?
The message was pretty, despite what the left has been saying about the message was pretty simple. It was stop spending so much money, stop borrowing so much money, and stop bailing out people that were irresponsible.
Here's a question, because people, and to say the left has been really taking a lot of potshots at the Tea Party, even misses the point that actually the mainstream media, I mean truly people at ABC, CBS, NBC, MSNBC are really ragging on the Tea Parties. What are they missing when they try and categorize this as some kind of corporate top-down scheme or some kind of dangerous right-wing reactionary program?
I think they're genuinely flummoxed that people are showing up so early in the Obama administration saying that we don't want any more spending, we don't want anybody to bail us out, we just want the government to stay out of this so that the economy can recover.
And Freedomworks, where were you guys on TARP, the original bailout, or the last days of George Bush's presidency?
Yeah, we were stridently against it, and very much felt like we were throwing ourselves in front of the train in September when this happened. But people don't remember this now, but the first House vote was trounced, and everybody was surprised, everyone was shocked. But that's where this grassroots uprising started. A lot of Republicans, a lot of conservative groups were sort of in the tank, right, supporting a Republican president, but we weren't, and more importantly, the people weren't.
Yeah, and the Washington Post had, right after the House vote, they had a bunch of editorials saying the congressmen who voted against TARP, against the bailout, were un-American, that they were problems, and you guys were saying no to the bailout. What's the alternative? If we are in a financial crisis, what is Freedomworks' prescription for getting the hell out of this recession?
Well, the best thing to do, and you can look at history and see that often the government gets in the way of economic recovery. You had the Federal Reserve, and you had a bunch of stupid government policies creating a housing bubble and, frankly, creating a financial bubble that burst. And now they're trying to prop it up. The best thing they could do is just get out of the way. And they're doing the opposite. They're borrowing money, they're taxing money, they're printing money, and it's going to sustain this recession, and it's going to keep people from recovering in this economic crisis.
What's next for the Tea Party phenomenon?
Well, we have suggested that a national march on Washington happen on September 12th. In fact, there's a website called 912dc.com. There's a number of events. There's an event on July 4th, but I think there's also going to be specific legislative battles where getting 1 or 2 senators to see the light, a few congressmen to see the light, Obama's budget.
It's going to be hard now that torture is outlawed, right, to get these guys to see the light?
Well, I tell you what, a little bit of grassroots pressure, they think that's torture.
Yeah.
And they respond to it.
Matt Kibbe, why do you hate America?
I hate it so much.
Yeah.
When these guys are in charge.
And 9/12, of course, that date is picked for?
Well, there's a number of reasons. First of all, it's Saturday, and it turns out that people that believe in freedom actually work for a living, so they can't just take a week off and go protest. Second, it is after 9/11, and there's going to be a lot of interest in people showing up and paying respects to the people that died in that tragedy.
Well, thank you very much. For Reason TV, I'm Nick Gillespie.